Once again, so with all the major situation has been going on for a while now, with him being arrested, especially with the Marvel Studios, and that are deciding what to do with Jonathan Majors, if he's going to recast as King or not in the MCU, especially with this situation, and that hasn't impacted his career, especially at Marvel, and even with his life, and even this situation has been going on for so long now, and it's just, especially like he was in court recently this week, and on top of that, we have evidence to support that to prove that he is innocent, especially with his trial date, when it's set on August 3rd to prove if he is innocent or guilty, and if he's going to recast as King or not in the MCU, but by Marvel Studios as well. And so in this video, we're breaking all down for what this means for Jonathan Majors, and especially if he's gonna keep being King in the MCU, especially for the future of the Marvel saga, and so much more as well. And so if you're new to the channel, and this to be sure to subscribe with the bell, so much on videos like this. So let's get into it. Just so a recap, if you guys haven't heard that with Jonathan Majors, he was arrested for assault, for assaulting his girlfriend, and now his ex-girlfriend now, and like, even so that he was arrested, especially with the evidence that came out from his lawyer, and even to prove that he's innocent, and he's been dropped for like so much, especially from movie roles and ad campaigns, and even with like Quantum media, like he is credited in the cast, but like he is not credited as King at all, and he was in his court date, and even so that with the evidence that was presented, the proof that he is innocent as well. From where this is coming from, this is actually coming from Insider.com, which have stated the evidence for Jonathan Majors to prove and that he is innocent, and the evidence goes as follows. Ms. Jabari claims that Mr. Majors assaulted her in a car in Chinatown at around 12 a.m. on March 25th and 2023. During this incident, Mr. Majors broke her finger and lacerated her ear. But like with Mr. Clarity, I told the judge that we have proof this is a complete lie. So especially with that line, would it be a complete lie? And then maybe with the judge that the Majors maybe did assault her, and like maybe it's just so much more. And then it could take on as follows. The Jabari alleged in a letter that this evidence is that Jabari injured herself some 7 hours later after a midnight fight when Jabari took a fall alone in the Major's penthouse apartment after drinking and taking sleeping pills. Even Jabari claiming that she took some sleeping pills and fell to the floor, and then it also getting into take by saying how she was injured with a cut on her head and an injured finger. That proves that if Majors were really assaulted her, or like, and that's how it started, and even got actual police evidence footage, and so much more to prove, and that with Jonathan Majors that he did not assault her. And then it also continue on by saying, even though Mr. Bory admitted to drinking to the point of throwing up and taking sleeping pills, and I have no idea how she woke up in a closet with a cut on her head and injured finger, the police jumped to the conclusion that Mr. Majors must have done this to Ms. Jabari. And now, especially with that line right there about she woke up in the closet with like so many injuries, with like a cut on her head and with an injured finger, and she also admitted, I don't know, 19 times to the police, even though they were assuming that Mr. Majors must have done this, and now I think this is evidence that like Jonathan Majors that did not assault her, and even with this being evidence to prove that he is innocent. On top of that, there was also video surveillance footage of the proof that the Mr. Majors that he did not Jabari, and it goes as follows. Footage from the street corner where Majors got out of the car during the altercation. Footage from Louis' nightclub. The footage from the shared penthouse elevator footage also showed that Majors was allegedly the aggressor who didn't show any signs of an injury to her hand or ear before heading back to the penthouse. And she argued that Jabari said it took a fall while alone in Majors' penthouse apartment after drinking and taking sleeping pills. And I think that right there is evidence that Mr. Majors that he did not assault her, and that how she took sleeping pills and took a fall in the closet, and then like she also admitted I don't know 19 times of how she got injured, and I think that's evidence right there. Even with the driver, I drove Maynard's and Jabari, and he was also prepared to testify, and it goes as follows. And the attorney told Insider that the man who drove Maynard's and Jabari to and from a Brooklyn bar that night was not directly employed by Maynard's and worked instead for Black Lane, an upscale private black company, and also continued. She wrote it in the April letter that the man whose name she asked not to be published was prepared to testify that Maynard's never raised his voice or hand against Jabari as they argued inside his car or after he pulled the car over, and the dispute spilled out onto a busy street corner. Especially with that line right there, Maynard who never raised his voice or even touched her, and I think even with the driver too, I think he's also prepared to testify, and even in the trial as well, and even with the Majors who is charged for assault. And even with all this evidence of being presented right here is that even with the Majors that was on charge for assault, and even that with Jabari who ended up in his penthouse apartment, and even woke up with some injuries, and also saying I don't know 19 times of how she had those injuries and on her face, and even with her injured finger, and she don't know how those injuries ended up on her, and even with that, I guess we'll just have to wait and see for the new evidence that's coming, even with more people that are prepared to testify. And now, for my takeaway on this, I think there's all evidence to prove that with the Jonathan Majors, he is innocent and did not assault Jabari, and also who was the victim and his ex-girlfriend. Even though with this trial date, which is set for August 3rd, and this is going to prove if he's innocent or guilty, especially with the Marvel Studios, if they're going to recast King or not in the MCU, especially as I love Jonathan Majors as King, and I don't see him leaving the role, especially as King is going to be so important for the future of the multiverse saga as well. And I guess we'll just have to wait and see if he's going to be proven innocent or guilty. And now, with the evidence that was presented here, it was proved that Mr. Majors that also Jabari, especially, and that with the video surveillance footage that was also presented, and that was proved that was Jabari, that she was never assaulted. In fact, she was in the closet, plus she was injured with a cut on her head and with a bruised finger. And in a minute, I don't know 19 times of how she was injured. In fact, she was never assaulted as well. So I think that as evidence were right there, and even to prove if Jonathan Majors is innocent or guilty, but with his evidence right here, I think it's also proof and that he is innocent. And yeah, I guess we'll just have to wait and see on August 3rd when Jonathan Majors goes into his trial date to prove that if he is innocent or guilty, and if he's going to get a recast as King or not, and the future of the multiverse saga, especially with the Marvel Studios that are planning what to do with the Jonathan Majors, and even what this situation has done to this man's career, and with the impact that he has done, and he's been dropped from so many movie roles, and campaigns, especially from his management team, and even so, I guess that's the way we see if he's proven innocent or guilty, and I think he is gonna proven innocent, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see. And so that's gonna be for the video. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments below, and what your thoughts on all this. So with the evidence that was presented to prove that Mr. Majors that he is innocent, or if he's going to get recast as King or not in the MCU. Let me know in the comments below. Give this video a like and subscribe to turn on notifications about future videos, and for updates always follow me on Twitter. And with that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.